Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Proceed.
Record video.
Okay. Time. I'll have a roll call now. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. The board is all here. Kathy here. Linda's on the phone. Where's Mr. Rudd? Right here. I didn't see you say. I just sat down. Do we have no other from our finances? Okay. Hold on. Any additions or deletions to the agenda for today? None.
I have none.
Right. No objections. We accept the agenda as presented. And I need approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting. Second. Pass 3-0. I need a treasurer's report. And I don't have anybody to give it to them. All right. Accountant is absent.
We just need a account payable approval.
Yeah. You get that? Approval of accounts payable. Motion. Motion. Passed by 3-0. Approval. $48, $36.24.
I have further discussions regarding the Deep Creek issues. Talked with Dwayne Kent, county engineer for St. Johns County. He is going to share portions of the stormwater model that Jones Edmonds did county that includes portions of the creek. I don't have it yet, but I'm sure it's coming soon. He mentioned that there was perhaps some possibility of getting some assistance from the county in getting a stage recording gauge placed into the Flagler Estates drainage system at some point that would be used for remodeling. Also followed up with Corey Helmley at the Water Management District, and they have been in conversations with the county about the project. They are planning on doing analysis of the Deep Creek area this year, and she also mentioned the possibility of getting some funding to put a stage recording gauge in. Of course, it would be helpful in calibrating the model that would be done. And also mentioned that there were perhaps some grants that might be available to help pay for modeling the county could participate in seeking grants for. So we're starting to get some momentum going behind this out.
Letting go. Nobody said anything about cleaning it up.
Well, that's going to be part of what is going to have to be analyzed, because and my perception is that there's enough shoaling and snagging in the canal that has created some blockage to the ability to flow. The general perception out in the world seems to be that the stage recording gauge at 207 is a good predictor of what we're going to have here. I think my perception again is that there's more obstruction to this end of the creek than is understood, because I know that the model, from the results of the model I've seen, they predict stages that are somewhat lower than what we actually see on site here. So I think there's an effort to try to do things to clean out that section of the canal would be a great benefit, but we're going to have to do some modeling to prove it in order to start to get some money together and the effort behind it together to get that section cleaned out.
The whole canal or just our section?
No, it would be your canal is not the issue. It's that section between 13 and 207 that's used to be able to take a boat up kayak up Canmore. I think it's something that the degradation of that section has been probably an ongoing issue, probably since this was area was first cleared and developed. So it's a long-standing problem that I think is finally going to start getting some attention.
Okay, is there any time frame?
Hopefully we can get some funding. We as Matthews,
Will there be some federal funding available?
federal or state funding we might be able to get. There's appropriations coming up soon that we may be able to get in front of. It's just going to be an effort that's going to require the participation of the county, other interested landowners in the area, Barnes Farms for one. I think if we all work together, I think we can get some attention. But the district, Corey Hemley did say that the district was planning on doing some modeling on this section of the creek this year.
Maybe we had have a meeting, Wesley Smith, and guys from Barnes Farm.
I've spoken with the Barnes Farms representative. We also need to include Hastings Water District in that as well.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Can I speak to that? Bill, would I be able to do that? We're working on, I'm working on getting a group together. Chuck Owens from Hastings Water, FDOT. We need a representative from Corps of Engineers, DEP. So the challenge is not just the local landowner, but I think the Army Corps is probably going to want to either a permitting or some kind of say with that. So we're working on getting a group together. So getting permission first, then permitting, then contracting. We're going to have to contract someone to come in. My thing is if we can find a crew, a timber crew that does this for us, put a barge in, start taking trees out, it really help if we could do that. But that's going to take some planning. But we are having discussions in the county about putting a group together to try to solve the Deep Creek issue. Because
keep us up to speed on it.
Yeah, it's really easy to say we need a study to tell us what's wrong, but the people who live here know what's wrong.
Yeah,
We got to clean out Deep Creek. We got to restore flow to Deep Creek is the challenge. So
one thing I know that is wrong with the Coast Guard considers Deep Creek a navigable waterway.
yeah.
Black.
Well,
It is so designated. It is so designated.
Yeah. At one time it was navigable. So
You
we
can't
just
get
went
away
there,
with
but
that.
that's the challenge, and we have a discussion.
Please keep us in the loop on that.
Okay. Nothing else about Deep Creek. We'll go to regular meeting items. There's an interlocal agreement between St. Johns County CRA and RCRA. Our district, yeah, for millings. Yes.
Yeah, this is something we've been talking about for a while. I've been dealing with Keely West, I think is their name, the county attorney's office. And you should have a copy of the general agreement. The CRA in their budget approved $151,000 to give for the district to spend on millings on the way it ultimately turned out. It's for Flagler Estates Boulevard and any other road within the district. And originally, we were talking about Division Street, but that presented its own set of issues. So our limitation is to spend it on the Flagler Estates Boulevard, any other road we designate. I noticed in the minutes last meeting, Rudd's had a suggestion for the Guy Street.
Whatever the one of Indian North is. Guy.
So, I mean, this is it. I don't have any problem with it. It provides that as soon as we both, the CRA and the district signs this agreement, they're going to touch and check. And then we have until September to complete the project. And once we complete it, we show them photographs, receipts, and invoices that we paid to show them how we spent $151,000 and where we spent it.
Okay.
And it's an upfront payment. That was another point we finally got to that point where they would pay us upfront and no reimbursement. So my recommendation is that we do it. It's $151,000 grant. We can certainly find that much million to buy in the next 6 or 8 months, and I know we got plenty of uses for it on the roads out here.
But that was originally, the purpose was for the school buses, was it not?
Well, originally it was Flagler Estates and Division Street, but the problem with Division Street is we only own half of it. And I suggested to Ms. West that we not limit it. I originally said we'll do Division Street if feasible. And I explained to her the ownership situation. And she made it clear that we were not allowed to spend any of these funds on the Flagler County side, which we would do anyway, absent some kind of reasonable agreement with Flagler County. So in the next draft, she just said, you guys spend it on Flagler Estates or any other roads that we in the district.
Did that go back to the CRA or the school board? Because that was the original understanding the CRA had with the school board, that we would assist in improving the roads on the dirt roads on that line, on the county line. Now, if it's not feasible, I would suspect we should go back to the school board and say, would you mind if we have you pick out another road that's safer and put your buses through there, and we'll put the millings on that, as opposed to saying, well, yeah, we raised all this money, but guess what? We're going to use it elsewhere. And it doesn't look right, to say the least.
This is the
Without
first
school
we've
board.
heard of.
Yeah, but I can't see wasting money if we gotta approve receipts and stuff like that on another county.
That, nobody
Oh.
said that, that wasn't part of it. We're talking about, everybody agreed in the last board meeting that it was senseless to fight this county line thing without having Flagler County be a part of it. But to move it to the next road, that would be more likely and safer for the county buses to use, would make sense. And that road could use the improvements.
David, once the interlocal agreement is signed tonight and approved by the board, my intent is to forward an email to the Board of Education, Transportation Department, and all parties involved to let them know that for safety reasons, it's best practice to forward their buses off to Guy Street. It's already has millings on it.
Guy Street don't have millions.
Well, that's why I'm saying we're going to add that as a safety caution to do millings on it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Now,
They weren't going to lose their millings after we promised.
I've got that interlocal agreement right here in front of me. And I read it, and it is gonna be between the CRA and the county. Not Flagler State Road Water Control.
No. It's between CRA and Flagler State Road Work. I really thought it was going to be the county and the district, but it's set up to be between the CRA and the district, although the county essentially.
Anyway, I already signed it, and,
Well, we need a motion. We need a
Krista,
motion to approve the agreement.
yeah, I wanna finish what I'm saying, right? Krista Jones, who is chairman of the county board, she has to read it and approve it.
I don't know about that. It's got to be signed by the CRA. That's all I
Place
do.
there for it.
Huh?
There's a sheet there for her to sign. And the deputy clerk, assistant county attorney.
Yeah, that's the CRA.
Okay.
Is this for the millings still?
Yes.
Okay.
So we need a motion to authorize the president's signature on this agreement.
Do I hear that motion? Motion. Second. Passed, 3-0. Okay. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Not right now. I probably will in a minute on the next subject.
Linda, what do you got to say?
proceed with the email now that all the signatures are gonna be compliant.
Okay. And our foreman is absent. He's on vacation.
Correct, but we need to go with regular meeting item number 2.
Number 2.
St. Johns
Yeah, I
County
got it.
CRA lighting.
I found it.
Great.
Number 2 is St. Johns County and the CRA lighting project for streetlights. Greg,
Yes.
say what you gotta say.
I'm really here for any questions that somebody may have regarding this. Yeah, Greg Caldwell, Public Works Director for St. Johns County. I'm here with Jesse Dunn to see if there's any questions that you may have regarding the agreement. Right now, the agreement states that FPL would install 40 new streetlights within the Flagler Estates community. That cost to install the streetlights is around $7,200. The county has put those budget dollars into the CRA, and those installation costs would be part of that. So those funds would come from the county through the CRA.
To the district. That would be very similar to the Millings relationship, where the funding would go from the CRA to the district, and then the district would need to consider contracting with FPL for those.
The agreement that you have probably in front of you, or the one that I've seen, is between the Flagler Estates Road and Water Control District and FPL. The county would fund the installation cost of part of that agreement.
And what about the monthly goals?
The monthly cost, that is something that the TIP dollars typically do not fund the reoccurring costs. So those monthly bills would come to the Flagler Estates Road and Water Control District.
Could we be able to reassess the property owners and to recover?
That's not a decision for the county. That would be something that's the special district that you guys can look at.
You can do it as part of next year's budgeting and assessment process. But what happened there originally, the first draft I saw of this whole deal was between either the CRA or the county and FBL, and the district was not involved. And that's when we first brought to the board, and we made it clear that at least at that point, the district was not willing to take on that responsibility. And at some point, a few months ago, the board voted not to do that deal. Somehow this has been resurrected. I don't know why, I think, but we're still, I think as far as I see it, we're still at square one as far as it's up to the board whether the district wants to be a party to this and incur that financial.
I need to speak. You said you're here to answer questions, but I need to ask Jesse.
Of course.
Our budget, utilities, $5,100 a year. That's the bill for FPL for the lights we currently have. Why in the heck would these additional lights not be added to the utilities bill that we already have?
Sure. So generally, under Florida statute, that's a great question. We've had that discussion today. The TIF funds, which are the funds generated by the CRA, are primarily used for capital projects. We do have some small utility costs that were originated at the onset of the Flagler Estates CRA, but generally the CRAs don't pick up recurring costs. And here's why. At some point, that recurring cost, the CRA itself may sunset. Right now, it's scheduled to sunset in 2032. So while the CRA could certainly fund the one-time capital improvement here, or in this particular case, the lights, the recurring cost at 2032 becomes, first of all, it's not something that the statute really necessarily allows for. But then if for some reason there was that we allowed the CRA to do that, it sunsets in 2032. So somebody has to pick up that recurring cost.
Okay, which is something we're gonna visit. We'll visit. I'm bringing it up. I mean, we will visit that whole situation, because as long as we have opportunity to apply for a TIF, if we are able to offset tax on our residents, because we are taxed up the whatever here the last 2 years. Yeah. 2 years ago, they increased our flat non-ad valorem tax by 25%. People aren't earning 25% more. I mean, to make that adjustment. Then last year it was 20%. You know, because I got told the first year when I referenced a special district, granted it was a fire district, but that was an example, a Florida statute I quoted that night 2 years ago about a district that took the average income increase of their residents into consideration before they put an increase on their district non-ad valorem tax. That's very thoughtful, because to have these two already in a row, that's a lot, you know, for people on flat, or people have more than one lot out here, okay?
Excuse me, Shirley.
That's a lot, but I just,
Bring this up in public speaking.
oh, well, I could, but I'm just saying that I'm very disappointed to be finding out tonight that the monthly bill for these additional lights will not be added to the lights we already have that we're paying the bill on. And that's a decision that should be a decision for down the road, like you say, when it sunsets or it ends, or we can't get another one to pay it.
So I think one of the conversations for tonight for this group is to discuss that is this thing predicated on that, you know, the decision to move forward, is it based on the recurring cost?
Yeah,
Or
because
is
this
it-
is the first that we've heard that.
Yes,
Literally,
yes.
we are completely blindsided. I just want to put out that everybody who lives in Flagler Estates, we, the CRA, are completely blindsided by this. This
Yeah,
is the very first we hear of this. So imagine our surprise when we now have to explain this, what the hell we've been fighting for this entire time. When this is,
All right, if you're gonna speak on it,
sorry, Bill.
fill out the paper and give it to me. And under public speaking, you can ask the questions. We're gonna move on. Like I said, Mike is not here. What do we got on the consent agenda?
Well, what are we gonna do about this item?
I don't know. What do you?
Well, can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
I guess it's to the audience generally. What exactly are you blindsided by? Who's gonna pay for the
Who's
monthly?
paying
The monthly
Yeah.
bill for service after the installation, we were not.
I got you.
Yeah,
So your impression was that the CRA would pay it?
Yes, yes.
as
Instead of
they
the
are.
county?
It has been paying it all this
They haven't
time.
been paying this because we don't have them yet.
Well, they
You're not
did
talking
one
about
for
7
Catholic.
lights, you're talking about
What we have
33
now.
lights is what we've been paying for through the tip, through the trust fund. You can't tell me that money hasn't disappeared and it's because we've been paying for the lights. This will be the first I would hear it. But I gotta tell you, we brought in $1,095,000 this year, right? Into the trust fund from the tip. Do we not?
Mr. Williams, I don't have that number on me right now.
You know that number. I've told you in county commission, the exact number. I was 4,000 off. They're trying to hide this $1 million that they're bringing in and figuring out how they're going to spend it. We've had this discussion with impact fees, which is still a moot point at this juncture because they won't come out with the new regulations.
Okay. Approve this. Your local agreement.
We're at a standstill. We don't have the right answers.
And we're not taking on any more debt.
Okay.
It's not in our budget.
No, it's not. I vote against it.
Is there any possibility of the county rather than CRA doing it? I don't know, I'm asking.
In terms, so I guess that's the question that I'm not a proponent or I'm not taking a position. Is the concern the lights and who's constructing, or is the concern about the recurring costs? 'Cause there's two-
Recurring costs.
The recurring cost, because
Because-
FPL's running the lights.
Well, I mean, there's two conversations there.
Yeah, but both. No, it's not both because they already agreed to pay the upfront cost.
Okay. Be the monthly cost.
So again, generally what we use, and this is where we would need to bring legal into this. Generally, those tax increment financing dollars are used for capital. It's
No,
not,
that's why I asked the county,
yeah,
whether the county could do it rather than.
So for that answer, I don't believe the county has the ability to go on private property and then install lights and then pay for lights on a private road. That's not owned by the
Well,
county.
it's dedicated to the public, though. It's
Easement.
owned by the governmental entity and it's dedicated to
It's
the
special
public.
district. I don't know if that's seen the same way as
It's
county owned.
easement, that's,
Right of way.
It's not county right away. It's the special district owns the property out there.
They give access to the county as well as FPL without permitting.
Well, it's, the use is dedicated to public, period. I mean, anybody in the public can drive on these streets.
What about the lights that are not working that we're paying for, that the CRA's paying for?
You should contact FPL if they're not working.
Well, let's, and
So-
how long, David?
It really depends on which light you're talking about. There are always some lights out. Whether they're the same ones for all that time or not, I have no clue. That was not my concern when I did this 2-month study to figure out where each bus stop was, that the child was picked up before 6 o'clock. Because that's what sunup is, basically, average-wise. Over time, but right now, you're in the dark at 7:15, but that's beside the point. The study was made and the FP&L put in 6 weeks and actually analyzed it right down to the limit. And the understanding was that these 7 lights, if you would, that cost $13 a month, is what the big deal is. Because if the 33 lights were being paid, you say by the county or by the trust fund, you see, that's what we never understood, that it wasn't the trust fund all these years. But we're paying back payments on a road because we couldn't make that payment. But we were making money that must have been paying for some lights because nothing ever happened with that. But when it came to the roads, we owe $400,000 a year, right? Well, the same thing, we figured that the lighting that we're adding to it, these 3, and going, with the eco lighting and everything, that we would save money, that it would be lower cost to operate, right? Because that's part of the operating expense, and that would lessen what we're paying. And that it was gonna come out of the same place that the money had come for 20 years. And why some lawyer had to mess with it and try to maneuver it so it comes out of the road and water district as an extra tax, I just can't believe. And I think somebody ought to take somebody to court and have it written in legalese, because somehow or another, all these discussions for this whole year has brought nothing. Absolutely nothing. No clear discrimination, no determination, no nothing. Just government speak. And I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's beyond ridiculous. To me, it's criminal. And I hope somebody looks into it to check it out and look into it, because I think they're just dragging their feet, thinking we're going to go away. We're going to take it. Well, we didn't take it with the community center. We didn't take it with the fire department, and we won't take it for this either. I'm telling you, there's something wrong here, and just people off in the blue there that don't come to these meetings don't have anything to answer for, except the bookkeeper, who says, the rule says, oh, you can't use recurring costs. Yeah, you know how hard that is to change? Because it does need changing. Just the way no money can be put for our roads, because they're not getting an assessment. They're not getting any road tax. We generate road taxes. We generate impact fees out the wazoo, because we're one of the fastest growing communities in the county, right? And what's happening to it? Everybody keeps saying, come on, give me some more money. I know you can't have any.
Can I ask one more question, just a little clarification from me? Mr. Williams, you're referencing 7 new lights as part of this agreement? Is that?
That's what I believe. Don't hold me to the exact number.
No,
I think he's right doing the poll.
It was 7
Okay.
poles, and the lights are going to be moved from one pole to another pole to reflect the movement in the population. If the bus stops is changed, then we move the light to the bus stops. Just makes sense.
And just to provide some clarification on that, the agreement states 40 lights
Yeah.
with
so
8
that's-
with 8 new poles is
Correct.
what would be part of the agreement. Just to be clear.
However, I don't understand this whole utility thing. I know that for the lights that exist currently, they obviously are included,
That would, I
the
would,
service of those.
so there is you're talking about the utility costs.
Yes, the current
So
lights.
we're talking recurring costs. So there are lights that are being paid through the CRA. The language, the TIF language, again, and again, we're talking language in here, and again, I came from the budget side on this thing, right? So, I certainly understand the bean counter, perspective on this. There's recurring costs and there's one-time costs on this. There are definitely, we saw some recurring utility costs related to the CRA. Now we were talking about the additional recurring cost, and the consideration is not that it's prohibited, but that it is not certainly, generally it is not used because the CRA is for a specific amount of time.
But we're a
So the
special
recurring
district.
cost, yes, but you're a district, your district could certainly handle the operating. The CRA sunsets. And so when you have a recurring cost at some point, those recurring costs are gonna need a, if you will,
I understand
funding source.
that it will end.
yes.
Okay, but I don't understand why it's happening now when we have 7 more years on this TIF. And it doesn't mean that we couldn't decide to pursue another TIF to offset the cost to residents so that their tax bills don't go up.
I
I
agree
mean,
with
that's
that.
what we would wanna, we'd have to vote on it, but we'll definitely be discussing that. Because we're trying to keep our residents' tax costs low.
Understood,
Especially with the increases I mentioned for the past 2 years that have been substantial.
yes.
And there are no exceptions to those, okay? So
So,
I
yes,
am really just floored that we are finding out when we came here tonight, believing that this was no different than the lights that we currently have, that we were also looking to convert to save money on that bill. So we know that we have in the budget this year $5,100 for those existing lights. I believe that's what I remember off the top of my head. Is it 52? And you're saying, David, that we only have 33 lights here?
Correct.
So if you divide 5,200 by 33, does anybody have a calculator?
I have
So,
actually, I
We could figure out the worst case scenario for these additional 40 lights and what they're gonna be every month to service them. And also in
There is
the,
a price, there is an estimated price for a monthly bill
Okay.
included in the agreement. And it's approximately $500 for all these new 40.
The numbers again.
so for the 40 lights, it will be $500 service fee per month to
That is what the
FPL?
agreement states, yes.
Are you freaking kidding me? We're talking, okay. So if this passed, are you saying, I just wanna make sure I'm clear and we're not surprised again. Are you saying that the $7,200 to install 32 on existing poles and 8 on new poles to be erected, okay, is covered by the TIF?
72.
However, the service of $500 is what you're asking Road and Water to pay?
Correct.
Well, hang on, one more clarification. What happens to the lighting bill after the CRA expires, basically? And
Who pays it?
who pays it then?
that's the question.
That's the
Well,
problem.
that'll
The existing one's already up. The existing one's already up. Who will take over that bill?
You're talking about for the existing costs that are.
Correct, the ones that we have now.
Again, good question, that was a conversation we had today. Those are a little bit prior to everyone that was in that room having that discussion. We said, yeah, what are those what lights are those and what ultimately happens to those? But at some point, there is a sunset provision, and what happens to that recurring cost is the same question that we came up with.
But no answer. I mean, we don't know
Because
who's
we
gonna
don't
pay
know
for
when that
it.
was established, we don't have an
Yeah.
agreement in place, and we're doing the research because that's a very rough question we
Like, so
had.
it's
Good
good
question.
question.
It has nothing to do with us.
And that's where it comes up that this is very clean, and that's why we want to make sure we're open and transparent with this information.
Sir, the distinction you're making between recurring and one time,
Yes.
is that by statute or by the CRA creation documents? or-
So I was working with Keely West on this, who's the same attorney. And again, she had written to me under Florida law, TIF funds are generally used for capital. And again, and she was specific and using the term generally. Because
Well, that can't be true if they're paying the light bills now.
Well, that's-
that's why generally is the language that's being used on this.
And the next question, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, is it the fact that we know that these expenses have been paid out of the TIF in the past? Are we saying that maybe we should have done that, or maybe that's a question we need to clarify going forward?
I didn't follow the question.
Well, it's been done in the past. If you're saying going forward, it's a question of whether we can, the TIF should do it or not.
Now it becomes
Are
a
we
question.
saying that it might have slipped by, we might not have should have done
Was it a
it
mistake before? Or
Yeah,
why they do it before?
I understand. I don't know. It's when all this discussion came up that we said, what was that original implementation? Who signed off on it? What was the reason for it? This was this was in 2000
Yeah.
when the improvements were put in place. So that's gonna require if able to find that information to see what that was.
That's what it's-
that already set precedent?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
not an
It's
attorney to say, to define what precedent
If you
is.
started it, and somebody goofed up,
Who's paying the recurring bill now?
CRA.
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 So why would that not be added on to the CRA for the new lights?
That's what we thought.
That's what we thought.
That was
exactly.
that's what.
That's why we thought this was a no-brainer.
Is that what's gonna happen?
So here is the consideration for the CRA, and I say the CRA meaning the CRA board, which also mirrors the Board of County Commissioners.
Which is not us, by the way. We're just a
Right, there's a steering committee and then there's the CRA.
Okay, so if the county pays for the installation of the lights, the maintenance, $500 maintenance fee should be paid for by the CRA.
That would be,
Or added into the existing bill that they have for the existing lights.
That's what we thought.
that would be,
And that's what's gonna happen?
that would be I think the
Or
question.
the question for the
For the
CRA.
CRA.
Okay, so you could literally go forward with this motion with a contingent upon a vote of the CRA next week, right?
Oh, but he's talking about, you're talking
Your-
about
your
the county
CRA.
CRA.
I'm talking about the county CRA.
Not the steering committee.
No,
county
I'm
CRA.
talking about the Flagler State CRA,
Which is the,
which
again,
meets they meet next week, right?
Well, we meet next
No,
Thursday, but the county
Board of
CRA.
County Commission.
So the Board of County Commissioners can vote to do that on the 21st.
Because you are
as sitting at the CRA.
It may not be,
Sitting as a CRA,
it may not be the 21st, because the board has to convene as a CRA.
Okay.
The meeting's next Tuesday, but it would
So that's
be.
easy, so you could literally move forward with this, with the contingent being that the CRA votes to handle the maintenance fees in addition to the whatever they're doing now.
Good, do that next week if they're meeting that out.
I happen to know somebody who, Lord willing, and the Christian Rise will be there.
But it's still sundown though?
So-
Doesn't it still sundown though? The CRA?
The CRA
County
still
one?
sundown.
So it's the same, we're in the same
All
spot.
right, I'll make a motion on this issue. That we wait.
2032.
Wait a minute. Who's gonna pay it after the CRA said that?
So everybody hear that?
No.
They voted to defer action by this board until the CRA makes its decision on whether to fund whether it can and will fund the monthly expenditure.
Thank you, Bill, I appreciate that.
Yep. Okay, we'll move on.
May I follow up with that? Is there gonna be a request of the CRA? Will the district make a request related to this. So in other words, there has to, in order for the CRA to consider a motion, there has to be a motion brought to them, right? A business item, if you will.
Well, I'll bring it up at next meeting.
At the next BCC meeting?
It's Tuesday.
That's Tuesday, okay.
Tuesday, I thought it was Thursday.
Thursday.
The Board of County
No,
Commissioners.
the Board of County
Commissioners meeting.
Commission's
Tuesday.
24th. Okay, yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to public comments. Shirley, you got anything else to say? No. Dave?
Just the usual, we're kicking the
Wait a
can
minute,
down the road.
Wait, let me get her loose.
Okay, I'm gonna make this real short, because, obviously, we're doing a continual, let's talk to Keely, let's get straightened out, when we haven't been straightened out for a full year. And I'm telling you, I think that the Inspector General perhaps needs to take a look at this whole deal and just see how it's been managed, because I'm gonna tell you, this is no way to do business, it just isn't. And FPL just laughs. I've got regular conversations with them, and they just say, you poor thing. Well, okay, you come and see us when you're ready, and that's all there is to it.
All right, your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
Actually, Bill, I do have something to say.
Huh?
I do have something to say.
Okay.
And I just want the Mooney family to know that we care, that there are people here in this community that care about that accident that happened with their son, and that we are all praying for his full recovery.
Well, I need to tell you a little bit about that. The Shrine Temple from Jacksonville is getting involved with him on rehab
Amazing.
through the Shriners.
Very nice.
Bill, this may be a good time for me to jump in on since that came up. I don't know if anybody knows me. I'm director of people with the sheriff's office. And, thank God Commissioner Murphy called me because I had no idea this meeting was going on. So I left my chicken and rice and black-eyed peas and cornbread on the table and fit in my uniform and jumped back to come to address y'all. So
Fixed his hair.
We appreciate that.
yeah. So listen, we need these lights, and I want to say a lot about the lights, but I can't. That's not my job. My job is public safety and to make sure y'all are safe. So listen, there's some legislature out there that is working on. I don't know all the details. Very little knowledge of this. That's changing the school times for younger kids, and I think that's
Bill 733.
so. Yes, so y'all read up on that. That could help with the kids getting out early in the mornings. I'll leave the school district to handle that part. But listen, as far as the accident goes, we have the truck. We have the driver of the truck. We are putting a case together to have where the state attorney can prosecute this to the fullest. So it's not, I know everybody says, y'all got the truck, you got the driver, why isn't somebody in jail? I wish it was that easy. I really, really do. But, people have rights. So we have to do a lot of investigation to put all the pieces of this puzzle together. So if we criminally charge this person that was operating this vehicle, that we stand a good chance in a court of law to get this guy convicted of the crimes that we're going to charge him with. And so just bear with us. We know that it's tough on the community. I've had some questions like, well, Director, how come you are not out here doing more? And I had some stats pulled, believe it or not, on the way here. Amazing that they got pulled that quick. So I will just share this with you. Maybe. No service in it. How does that not work? Anyway, well, I thought I was going to share it with you.
Yeah, are you trying to get, are you trying to get a
It's
signal
slow.
out here?
Dave, right?
Yes.
So,
You gotta go to Clinton County.
we're close. Listen, there were, without me giving exact numbers, because I don't know exactly how these, we did over 730 traffic stops out here last year. Good. So, and this broke down, so I want to do some more digging to make sure these are 100% because they were pulled with, it took me about 17 minutes to get here, and I did not speed, I promise.
Are you able to tell us the person?
No.
Not the person's name.
Oh, okay.
Are you just able to tell us if the person was a resident or someone driving through?
I don't even know the answer.
Oh.
I think, I don't, speculate because I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that question. It's obviously dark, a lot of things happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these things that are in our hands, are we paying attention to the road? Heck, I'm guilty of driving down the road checking a text message from time to time. We all do it. And things happen just like that. So
His name and where he's from will be in the newspaper in the next couple of days.
I hope so. I hope so. So just know, we are working on the traffic homicide investigative unit along with our major crimes unit. They're teamed up. I mean, we have all kinds, we have paint chips, we have a truck, we have a couple people that were there that didn't see anything but saw some things, and you know, I thought I saw this, but I'm not sure.
I'm thankful you're doing what you're doing.
So we have
so
a
that we
lot.
can all keep praying
Yes,
for
100%.
the boy. You know?
The good news is it's not a mystery who hit this young man.
Right.
So we have all that.
Some.
And it's just a lot more than, if it was up to me, I'd love to put him in jail today and just say, hey, we think you did it, but unfortunately,
Right.
we
So
can't
you're
do
gonna
this.
make it good.
32 years of being a cop, I know that's not gonna work.
So you can't release the name until you formally charge them? Is
Yeah,
that
it would
how
be
that
fair,
works?
right? It would just be like, I think it's this lady that was at the CRA meeting in a black jacket, but I'm not 100% sure. You know, it's just be fair, right?
It was definitely me, I'm a
Right.
virgin, I never
Right.
do that property.
So, yeah, we just want to make sure the person that gets accused of this deserves all of the, you know, his rights and make sure we
Oh,
charge
100%.
somebody correctly. But we are, yes, sir.
Are we planning to have more officers out here? Because what happens early in the mornings like this, we got a bunch of speeders out here. And also in the afternoon around 5, that's where most of the time you get the people.
Listen, I would say we're gonna do our best to get more. For me to say that I would put more out here, and we got 612 square miles, 350,000 residents, you know. It is, the minute that I put 25 cops out here, there's nobody speeding. The minute that 25 of the cops go out of here, 200 people are speeding. So, you know, but listen, in the budget the county commission gave us this year, we were able to add 4 additional deputy sheriffs to the southeast part of the county. We are, those deputy sheriffs are in training as we speak and should be on the road in a couple weeks.
Well, we appreciate what y'all
We
do.
spending that money?
And listen, if it wasn't for commissioners and Jesse and Greg, that we work together to make sure, man, in St. Johns County, I'm gonna just tell you, we're so fortunate to have the team that we have that protects our county. Do we get everything right? Of course not. Can we do better? Of course we. You know, we could get more taxes and, you know, we could have unlimited funds. We could do a whole lot more. But listen, we do the best we can with what we have and provide the services. And I promise you, it's not something we take lightly. It bothers, because we all had kids that were young.
Right, yeah.
So, if I can answer any other questions, I'll be happy to, but just keep your eyes on the news and, we will get something out. We'll do a big press release. I'm sure the sheriff will get on TV and tell you every possible thing we can. So,
Perfect.
all right. Thank y'all for allowing me.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. Is it all right if I go back and eat? I'm kidding.
Thank you so much.
Bill, can I take a second and something? I got 3 minutes. Okay.
Just to let you know, I'm Clay. I'm your Board of County Commissioner representative for this district, for the CRA and for the Road and Water. I'm here. This is the second meeting we've had since I was sworn in, and this is the second meeting I've been here. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm committed to Flagler Estates. I got a lot of friends that live out here, a lot of good people. And so I'm committed to doing what I can as a single commissioner, but as your representative, I'm committed to doing what I can to help in any way that I can. I can't promise that we can pull money out of a hat because, you know, my promise when I came into this is that we would try to reach a rollback. We reduce your taxes And so trying to fill in the gaps is a big challenge, so I can't make any specific promises, but I can tell you that even on this money here, if we can find a way, if we can find a pot that's sitting there, we'll make sure that the lights don't get shut off, somehow. I can't promise, I don't want to promise anything because I don't know. I have to go back and me and Jesse have to arm wrestle. But there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of people that care about here, and we're working hard to do it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I got my card with me. You can call me anytime.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to board comments. Which was a lot of good information this evening. Yesterday, I took a very impromptu survey